Okay, everybody, you are listening to the Top 5 podcast, arguably the most fun and cute and enticing, entertaining, opinionated yet inclusive show about popular culture where my co-hosts and I indulge in our top 5 favorite whatever of whatever. And I started this podcast a little more than a year ago now. I can't believe it. We are in 55 episodes-ish. And my favorite co-host is the one I'm with today, and just happens to be my younger sister, if you didn't already know that. So welcome back, as always, to the show, Annie Pruitt.
Hello, Chris McPeak.
How are you on this fine recording day?
I'm doing great. I took a break in doing chores in my house, so thank you for a much-deserved break. And I'm glad to sit down and talk about one of my favorite topics.
All right. Well, what is our topic today?
Well, I love cover songs, but today we're going to talk about the 5 cover songs, in our opinion, in our humble opinion.
And our humble, opinionated opinions, because frankly, let's just be honest with ourselves out there, people. There are some songs that, if they're going to be covered, should not be covered by these people. I don't know. They're cringeworthy, and you don't necessarily want to run to the other side of the room to turn them off, because they occasionally make you snicker out of the whole, like, what the fuck were you thinking, person? So there you have it. All right. I'm going to go first this show. How's that?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay. So for some, this may be blasphemy, because, I mean, he was a huge part of the British invasion punk rock movement, but I felt like to cover a Frank Sinatra song just was not right or good or nice. And so my number 5 is Sid Vicious's cover of My Way. I just really found the whole thing a little sad and revolting. And it's one of those things like Sex Pistols. I totally honor what you did for punk rock music, being like an origin innovator and all, but like, stay in your lane, okay? And that's about all I got to say.
So that was going to make my list. Not necessarily because Sid Vicious sang it, but because the second that Acura used it in a commercial, like how in the hell does Sid Vicious singing My Way help you sell cars? And it made me so mad and angry that all of a sudden I hated that cover song. I'm like, this is so wrong. Sid Vicious is rolling over in his grave because they're using this to sell fucking Acuras. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
So
no can hang.
Yep.
No can hang.
Nope. Okay. My number 4, and it's probably on everybody's like worst cover songs ever.
No, you're number 5.
I'm sorry, my number 5. My number 5. There's gonna be a lot of giggling in this. I'm sorry. It's going to be the Limp Bizkit cover of Faith.
Okay.
The George Michael.
Yes. Oh my God.
So bad. Okay, so I love George Michael. I love that he went through his MTV shaking his butt, and I love Faith, and then I love when he broke away from the pretty boy and became, with his freedom. And so, but George Michael to me stood for something a little bit more. But the song itself is just a fun song with George Michael shaking his butt. That's all I want to see. I don't want it associated with Limp Bizkit and Fred Durst screaming in my ear. And let's just Limp Bizkit. I'm sorry, what were you ever doing on the music scene to begin with? So, not to offend any Limp Bizkit fans out there, you should have stayed away from George Michael. Just don't bother George Michael. Don't try to be funny or cute by making a stupid cover of a poppy song. So that was just wrong in so many ways. So that's my number 5.
I love it. And you know what? Limp Bizkit could have just done break stuff and Nookie, and we would have been fine. And although I do love the reference in, is it The Real Slim Shady, where he says, Something about who gets to sit next to Carson Daly and Fred Durst, and something
Yeah.
about who fucked Christina Aguilera first. I don't know. It's a rhyme
Oh,
that
God.
just always makes me smile. Okay.
Yeah.
My number 4 is the 1-2 horrific punch of I Love Rock and Roll and I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the 90s pop queen herself, Britney Spears. Just no. And I get what you're trying to do, honey. Like, I trying to like maybe not be little pop princess in your schoolgirl outfit anymore, but we all knew that that wasn't going to last, and you were fine with Toxic and the Snake video and all that kind of stuff. We didn't need for you to make these other, like, everybody else, just please leave I Love Rock and Roll alone. It's already been a cover, and the woman who covered it is the queen of rock and roll. So everybody else with the song can just fuck off. And that's about all I got to say about that. Yeah.
I'm with you. I think I have to take that off my list now because we just can't hit it twice.
It's likely we could have hit a lot of things twice with this show, but that's okay.
Probably.
We're going to work it out.
Okay. So I'm actually going to change one thing real quick on my list. Hang on.
Okay.
All right. 4. And I love this band. I really do love this band, but they just like, why did you have to choose this song to cover? And that is U2 singing Helter Skelter on the Rattle and Hum. That song alone, like nobody ever needs to touch it because there's so much like bad juju associated with it to begin with. So it's kind of like it should have just been like, should be left alone. And the only thing people should ever associate with Helter Skelter is just it was on the White Album and the Beatles sang it. Because now when you hear the song, when you hear the name of the song, you immediately go Charles Manson. So like U2, like nobody ever needs to cover that song ever again. But B, Bono, I love you, but that's just not your jam. But it's just not your jam. That is, you don't scream well at all, and that's kind of, that belongs in the voice of John. So that's all I have to say about that. That's my number 4.
You know who did do a really good cover of Helter Skelter, though? I'm just going to put it out there. Pat Benatar. I can't remember if it's the Precious Time album, maybe? Or no, it's the album before that. I don't know. I thought she did a good job.
Okay.
But I'm not as big a Beatlemaniac fan as you are, so that's fair, I suppose. Speaking of Beatles remake songs, my number 3 is going to be the atrocious Mall Pop, I Saw Him Standing There by Tiffany. And I think the reason that I hate this song so much is because of the place that I was in college when this album came out. Now, I loved the cover of I Think We're Alone Now. And I do really like her version, her Could Have Been, the slow, sad ballad. That's actually a really beautiful song. But I could not stand her little, and you're gonna have to watch the video to see me do this with her whole doot 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 with her stupid hand in front of her face. It made me crazy, and so Camille, my best friend in college, and I could not stomach this girl and this song for anything in the whole world, and we would get so catty about it. We'd go to, because we were in the same honors English class together, and we would go in there and we'd be do 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 do. Yeah, it's bad. But you need to watch the video for a good laugh. So maybe we'll put a link to the video to this song in the show notes because it is tragic.
Yeah. Yeah. I the Beatles have so much, like, they're everybody's influence, and it's really, really hard to do an appropriate cover. I guess I could put it that way. But I mean, some of their hits were covers of other people's songs too. So there's that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get it. I do get it.
My number 3, again, I love this artist, but you have no business covering the song, and it ended up being one of the worst ever, and that's Faith Hill trying to sing "Piece of My Heart."
Oh,
so
word.
Faith, like,
yes.
Janis Joplin, what are you doing? It's so far from Janis Joplin. So it's like, it would be like don't go there. But she tried to make it a fun, sweet, cute Faith Hill type song, and that's not what it was. So I'm sorry, that's my number 3 worst cover song ever.
Word. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I am with you. Okay. So my number 2, again, kind of same vibe that you're on. I love this artist, but this was not the song for her to cover. And that is Cyndi Lauper's version of What's Going On. Again, Marvin Gaye, that particular song, I think is just a song you don't. I feel the same way about the Joan Jett thing. Just leave that alone. But it didn't, her voice is just such a unique voice. And for True Colors, like no one else could or should sing that song, although Phil Collins did a pretty decent job. But Cyndi Lauper doing What's Going On just wasn't working for me. And I'm not the hugest Marvin Gaye fan either, but I think that's a pretty sacred tune. So yeah, just I don't know, unfun. I didn't like it. I wanted to go away.
I am with you on that one. I almost put that one on my list too, but it wasn't as bad
as some of us.
Okay, it's me for honorable mention. Is that right?
No, it's you. You're number 2. Because I went first.
Oh, all right. So my number 2. So I'm gonna go back to talking about the Sex Pistols again. My number 2 worst cover songs is Motley Crue doing "Anarchy in the UK."
Oh boy!
And the reason it's not that they so bad, but it's like hair bands like are not punk. So the idea that Motley Crue, a hair band, would try to like channel what punk rock was, and will be, just like Motley Crue is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. They had nothing to do with anarchy. They were just punks. Even in the early days, they were big, destructive punks. So they were not punks in the terms of rock, or punks as in like snotty little kids. And I love Motley Crue. I freaking love Motley Crue. I'm a hair band fanatic, but when you sang "Anarchy in the UK," it's like you were kind of like not paying homage to punk rock. You were kind of spitting on it, which maybe like punk rock, they would have appreciated that. They would have enjoyed that. But it didn't work. It didn't work for me. Let me put it that way. That cover didn't work for me. So there you go. That's my number 2, "Anarchy in the UK" by Motley Crue.
I got it. Okay. Well, I'm a bit embarrassed because I don't have an honorable mention, but I guess in thinking about what I would put on here, not because in my opinion, it's the worst cover song of all time. Did we freeze up? Hang on a second. I think I'm having an internet issue.
No, I'm here.
Okay. Even though I love, again, another example of loving an artist, and I personally enjoyed this cover song. It inspired me to write a parody when someone set my car on fire in Chicago, but Madonna's version of American Pie. I know a lot of people really did not like it. I found it a little bit fun and frivolous, and again, it did inspire me to write this. On the day my car got fried, that was my line leaning into "Bye Bye Bumpers Thursday Nights." But so I will use that as my honorable mention simply because I didn't have another one. And I recognize and respect all of the true classic rock, the purists out there who hold that song very sacred in their lives. Who are we fooling? Madonna has done some wonderful things in her career, and she's done some not so fun things in her career. So, I can call a spade a spade. we can go on from there.
I did not enjoy that one at all. Yeah. So for the same reason, I'm going to give you my honorable mention is not to me. It's not my worst cover song of all time. I just hate it. So my honorable mention is going to be "Come Together" by Aerosmith. Again, a cover of a Beatles song. And did a bad version of it. It's just that I hear the Aerosmith version on the radio more than I hear the Beatles version on the radio. And that bothers me. And that's the one that's the one that like gets heard, like nowadays gets listened to more. And that like is wrong in my opinion, because if you're going to play "Come Together," sure, like 1 in 30 times you can do the Aerosmith. But let's face it, nobody sings that like the Beatles. So
True.
it's like when you cover the, just know that you're always going to be second fiddle to the Beatles. So there you go.
And third and fourth and fifth. They're just one. It's four guys, but it's one fiddle. I'm with you. I get it. I do. I guess I do. I don't. Well, yeah. I don't mind Aerosmith's version of that song, but the Aerosmith songs that I like the most are the songs that they wrote for themselves.
Yes.
How's that? Is that fair?
Totally. Yep.
Although their duet for Walk This Way with Run DMC, that was their song. So who am I kidding? They brought Run DMC in to play with them. My number one is really not even a song that I was familiar with before I started doing research on this show. And I think by the time I listened to it, I was so offended that I threw up a little in my mouth. My favorite, talking about Motley Crue, my favorite Motley Crue song is Same Old Situation. I have always loved that song. And then and these guys are kind of like, in my opinion, sort of the dregs of country music. I think they just got lucky that it's big and rich. And sorry to anybody that's a big and rich man, I'm just not. And they not only slaughtered this song, but they also slaughtered You Shook Me All Night Long. And I don't know if they were just trying to have a little pop hairband metal phase for themselves, but I just can't. Like, I want to find them in Nashville and I want to punch them both in the face and knock over that one guy's fucking stupid cowboy top hat that he wears. Just no, you guys, go away. Stop recording anything, let alone my favorite Motley Crue song. So to quote Logan Roy, fuck off. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, that they did that. That's just, so you know what? I'm with you because that's one of my favorites of theirs also, because they wrote it themselves, right?
I believe so. Yes, it's their song, all the way their song.
Yeah. So songwriter, all four of them wrote the song and produced by Bob Rock. So yeah, I mean that's just like, there's some songs that just don't translate to country.
No,
it just doesn't work.
No.
Okay. My number one worst cover song, and it kind of makes me throw up in my mouth a little bit too, is, and it's on every like worst cover song list. When you Google worst cover songs, this one's going to come up. Right. And it's Jessica Simpson doing These Boots Are Made to Walk for Hazard Sound. So number one, let's just say like the remake of the movie was like bad enough that they decided to do that. But then you throw on top making Jessica Simpson Daisy Duke, which is even that much worse because the woman can't act.
Yeah.
She can barely sing. They released the video and it's Jessica Simpson, rubbing her boobs on a car. And it was like, it was so disgusting. About one of these days, it was a little bit of a female empowerment song. And then they just turned it into this sexual, spongy car wash thing. And then I kind of just hate Jessica Simpson. She irritates me on so many levels. And I wanted her to go way back then. And I didn't want to ever see her sing that song. When I hear that song, I want to hear Nancy Sinatra, and I want to think about the movie Full Metal Jacket, and that's the only place where my mind wants to go with These Boots Are Made for Walking. So
amen to that.
And Jessica Simpson, I do apologize. I'm sure she's a very sweet person in real life, but I think she had no business covering that song. There you go. That's my number.
Yeah, that's a good one. And that song, it has a happy place for me for other reasons. When I first started to go to karaoke on a very, very, very regular basis was when I was a hall director at Western Washington University. And the two girls that would go with me and Charles, Jessica and Allison. And Allison would never sing. No, she would never get up and sing, although Allison could sing. She knows she can. Allison, if you're listening, bitch, you can sing. But Jessica was this beautiful red-haired bisexual minx of a girl, and she would sing These Boots Were Made for Walking, and it was quite entertaining and fun. And so, yeah, so the idea of now having to associate that song with Jessica Simpson is just a little bit sick and wrong. So there we go. All right. Well, do people want a playlist of these songs? I don't know. I mean, we'll make one if you want it, but I don't think I have that.
Telling you, don't listen to these songs ever. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is just going to be a thou shalt not.
The playlist could be the original cover, the original versions of the songs.
Annie, that is a delightful idea, and that is what we will do. We will take this top 5 list and turn it into this is the way you should listen to these songs. This is the proper way to listen to these songs. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, seriously. Amazing songs that just like deserve to stay in the voices of the original artists.
Totally. Okay, Annie, why don't you run me through your list? A recap.
My list: Come Together, Aerosmith, and then 5-1, Faith, the Limp Bizkit cover of the George Michael song, Helter Skelter, that U2 did of the Beatles song, Piece of My Heart, Faith Hill, who's tried to sing a Janis Joplin song, Motley Crue doing Anarchy in the UK, originally sung by the Sex Pistols, or you could say sing or screamed by the Sex Pistols, and then number 1 is These Boots, originally recorded by Nancy Sinatra and then just slaughtered by Jessica Simpson.
Oh, just destroyed. Okay, what do I do with my list? My honorable mention is Madonna's version of American Pie. Then we get 5-1, Sid Vicious's version of My Way, Britney's version of both I Love Rock and Roll and Satisfaction. They both suck. Tiffany's version of I Saw Him Standing There, Cyndi Lauper's version of What's Going On, and Big and Rich's version of the greatest Motley Crue song ever, Same Old Situation. Just quite a fun music video. I love Tommy Lee being all almost naked in that bubble, floating above the crowd. I think they were at Alpine Valley in Wisconsin for that music video, but I find the whole thing quite entertaining, and I just don't find Big and Rich entertaining at all. So I'm sorry, Big and Rich fans, but think we covered that already. So, all righty, great. Well, Annie, that was fun. We'll make you a really nice playlist of the real songs without the covers that are making us both feel a little sick to our stomach. I myself am going to need some Tums.
Yes.
So, but more fun cover song concepts coming. I'm sure we're going to, our favorite country songs covered by rock artists or our favorite rock songs covered by country artists. I don't know. And we do still have more country series things coming down the pike. We'll catch you up with all of those things at our next fun-filled, thrilling, opinionated yet inclusive episode of the Top 5 Podcast. So for Annie Pruitt, I'm Chris McPeak. We will catch you on the flip side.